Now, y'all watching this, we got the one and only Mama Fee, and we're going to let you live stream this interview. And people going to pop on. There's going to be a lot of people popping on throughout. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Prop it up.
And I want them to see both of us.
They probably won't be able. I doubt if they can see both just from the weird angle.
Yeah.
But they can see, they see the star. And, you know, that's the key. There we go.
Thank you.
I guess sit back down.
You can sit back down.
Okay, sit. Here, right here, talking to it like this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can also put a music stand here with your phone. That way it could get more of that. It's up to you guys.
Whatever.
They'll hear me.
Yeah.
I'm allowed. Hey, y'all hear. I know you hear me over there. And they go.
I'm going to be adjusting your mics.
I like it.
Let's see. Could I have you sit a little bit further back? Unless you're comfortable. However you're going to feel.
Well, unless I move this, because this is as far back as I can go, as I move this pillow.
So try to move your butt as far back as possible so that this is like supporting your back. And we can get you some more as well.
Is that good?
That way you're comfortable sitting upright
like
throughout.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Uh-huh.
You feel good? All right. So I'm just going to squeeze in here and get these.
Wow.
Nice and personal.
Right. I
Yeah.
have to talk low. You know, I talk loud, so I have to lower my volume.
It is a microphone, so no need to talk too loud, but you don't want to be talking like, whispering.
Right.
Yeah. We'll do our best to
ASMR.
adjust afterwards anyway. Can you give me her shot?
I'll have to reframe her though.
Sorry. Right, Zach.
Okay.
And so just try to scoot your butt back as far to the couch as you can. We can have some of this stuff supporting you. Move the pillows behind you if you have to, or if you need some more, we'll get you some.
Too much.
Maybe you want like this guy here, just to help you be upright throughout. How you feeling? Better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're good.
We'll make it work. Look, if I look fat, it ain't going nowhere. It won't be seen. It will not make the light of day. Y'all, they got me looking fat, TikTok folk. And if you don't follow me, you should follow Zactivist if you like politics. If you don't like politics, follow Zach and ATL for food review and all things Atlanta culture.
Okay.
And we're going to drop this on both. But the food, they're going to love you on the, we're going to take the food stuff on the food one.
Okay.
Gotta frame her up.
It's going on me.
You're gonna take it off?
No, I'm not taking
Oh, it's
it off,
cute.
but-
It looks good. It's a great look. It's a great look.
Can you go to the wide? Just wanna
The
make
look
sure.
is perfect. You styled well. This is a great choice.
Thank you.
You're good.
I don't want to have to pick up the noise. I'm wondering. And I'm also going to put some powder on you guys, translucent, so it's going to look white. It's not white, okay? So don't freak out.
My
but yeah,
shiny
just
head.
The lights are harsh, so we're going to try to take some of the shine off. And then we'll be ready to start.
Hold on, let me get out of here. Hold on.
How long are you guys trying to go today?
We're gonna go about an hour. We're gonna, we're just gonna let it go.
All right. We'll have this timer going. It's gonna count upwards so you guys can tell how
Yes,
long.
we're only doing like one guess. I'm like, last time I had 2 people, but this time with just one guess. Well,
Right.
just let it be a natural organic interview, and look, when we get tired or hungry, we'll call it a wrap. It won't be too long. I promise it won't be too long.
I did one a few weeks ago, and he said it was going to be about 30 minutes, and we were on 3 hours.
It will not be 3 hours.
Okay.
I know we probably both can talk, but I promise you it will not be 3 hours.
Yeah,
And I want to cut it into, I'll probably do 3 slices of this. So the first one will be about the, you and reality TV experience. Then we'll go into the food.
Okay.
Because that's what everybody cared about the most. They want to hear about that lasagna. And now we want to hear about your gumbo.
Okay.
That was some.
And
I should have brought the pot.
And I think that's where, your brand will grow the most there's a lot of money, a lot of opportunity in food. That's
Everybody
what the most
likes to eat. Uh-huh.
Right. And they, I can see the Mama Feet cookbook and multiple versions of that. And that's a month. You can do that in a month.
Wow. You think?
Yes. I'm gonna show you at lunch. Because look at all the people on like social media who have that. You can buy it on the TikTok shop. You've seen those pop up, right? And none of them have the built-in brand that you're already bringing to the table.
Okay. This is good. Tell me something.
Yeah.
See my remote for the timer? Oh, I see it. Did you start it for me?
Don't start it yet.
Yep. And so you're going to be turning a little bit to talk to her every now and then?
I'm gonna figure it out. This is so awkward and weird, but we'll figure it out.
I'm fine if I have to.
Yeah,
I can
we'll
do
figure
this.
it out.
We're gonna be comfy.
I don't even think this should be an option. It's so weird.
We do
Like
have
being at
people
a
that prefer
table.
it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends on your height, different things like that. Maybe that's why it doesn't work out for you.
Hold on, this is Leslie. Hey, we're shooting. What's up? Yes. We're in the middle. So come on in. Just come on up to the second door, the one directly closest to the actual townhouses across the street. Buzz in. They're gonna let you in. Okay, bye. Okay.
I'm happy with that.
I look like a frog, a fat frog.
Stop! No, you don't.
I look horrible. We'll see. There's nothing we can do about it. It's just the odd angle sitting position.
Yeah.
It's a deep sofa too.
Yeah, you're low.
Yeah.
Okay, let's rock. Maximize the time. Yeah, this angle looks make a little bit. I can calm my stomach up. And it's not Felicia Cannon. What did I call you the other on the other call? I was calling you Felicia somebody else.
You calling me Felicia?
But as you get older, people just run out together. All the Felicias in the world, all the Felicias in the world. It's you obviously. I was calling you some other Felicia.
In fact, most times when people ask me my name, I say Felicia, and they say, "Oh, hi, Felicia," and I'm just in my head thinking,
You just said
that
Felicia.
ain't what I said.
It's Felicia like Alicia.
There you go.
Like there's so many different Alicias, Alicia,
Alicia,
Aaliyah.
Felicia,
Right, it's the
Felicia.
same thing.
And everybody pretty much spells it the same way, so they.
Felicia has an E. Felicia has an I.
There you
It's
go.
just-
That's what I say.
Like that.
It's
Like,
an
it's
I.
intentional.
How do they say Felicia?
It's intentional because the I is there.
it's looking good. Just try not to move from your positions.
Okay.
Because we will have to like potentially stop and move the mics. And so yeah, this is gonna be your close-up. That one there is your close-up. So if you're, one person's talking versus the other person, you might want to look over there every once in a while.
Okay.
And then if you're talking to your audience, like announcing something, follow me, whatever, probably want to go to this wide angle.
Okay.
And, look at that. So that's just the general guide for those things. But you guys are going to do great. All right.
I'm just tripping about this.
You.
I think I got it.
Okay. You said it needs to be in the perfect spot, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Flip through them one more time. Boom. Boom. Nice.
So you want to roll it?
You want to fall everywhere now. Okay.
Look up for me. Look at him. Nice. Ready?
I think I hear the air on again. Hold on.
Go to this one. Oh, actually, you don't need to. Sure. So all focused up.
This is a nice podcast studio.
And there are multiple rooms and options. So, if you're ready to do cooking with Mama Fee, it's an option. It's an expensive option. But you're not gonna get all. You wouldn't get this up. You don't get this level of service anywhere else. Like, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah. So you definitely get what you pay for. Yeah. The other spot I was gonna use, they didn't even respond back to the
Oh wow.
Didn't even respond. Whereas here, Dorian responded within an hour. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's, everybody's on vacation and holiday, and I understand it. But he responded immediately from his phone. No problem. Did all the steps to set it up.
That's kind of
Exceptionally
Can I
professional.
close the doors?
Copy.
Let me know if something. I don't know.
I mean, I'm a Scorpio, so I can't handle it if it's not right. It gotta be right.
Trying to perfect it. Perfection is
Yeah. Always.
excellence. That's what I say. Always striving for excellence.
You rolling on the switcher?
Yep.
Is this going?
Yes.
Sweet.
How many viewers how many people are
Go
looking?
wide.
What's the number?
I can't even see.
Okay. Well, we ready?
We are ready.
Everybody, here's the thing. Felicia Cannon emerged as a breakout star on Big Brother 25. She is one of Atlanta's own, and today we have her on the couch. Mama Fee, welcome to the 3+1 podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's good to be here.
It is good to have you here with us. There's so many things I want to know.
Okay.
But before we go into any of this, of the story of Felicia Cannon, what got you here to this point, where you're going to go next, your Big Brother experience, I want to know this because when I search you on social media and I see all the interviews, there are a lot of things that I could say about who you are from what I've seen. But who would you want people to say you are based upon who you are? Give me one word. One word that you want all of us to use to describe Felicia Cannon.
One word. Let me think.
Guys, I'm sorry. We need to stop. I forgot one more thing we need to add for sound. 1 minute.
Oh, yeah, take it.
Okay.
Can you help me carry on with
So look, you're another person, and I can get my intro better too.
Right.
A little choppy, I feel. And I need to get. Let me see it. Leslie made it. It did. I'm gonna plug my book club that I'm just starting with some old students.
Song of Solomon.
Yeah, it's students always, they want to come together, meet up, catch up. And so one of my old students was like, I so regret not reading all the books you want us to read because they keep coming up. Now they're like banned in Florida and all this controversy. And you're like, oh, my teacher had us read these books and I didn't even read them. So I was like, we can read them now.
Okay.
We can read them now. This can be a year. 2 months to read one book at a time.
Right.
To go over some of those books.
Okay.
No, it's okay. We're gonna
kind of barricade this area. So
Let's see what we can
Yeah,
Let's see. Let me see.
You know I can't see that.
You got a good number. You got a good. Hey, all 80 y'all. Look, don't be. Somebody say I'm confused why she's live. She's live because she's doing an interview in a studio. That's how television works. And we're pausing and setting up and getting the sound right and all these things. So it's gonna be a good experience for you to watch this live. And if you don't follow my TikTok and you live in Atlanta, you want to go to Zach and ATL. And if you don't live in Atlanta, you want to go to The Zactivist. If you like people, politics, and pop culture, if you don't like people, politics, and pop culture, then you don't want to go because it's going to piss you off. Especially if you like Donald Trump. That's just me. That's not Mama Fee. That's me. That's me. Now, here's Mama Fee. They want to hear from you. You got 82 people.
82 people. Hey, everybody out there. It's Mama Fee. We're going live. We're going to sit down and just have some open conversation and dialogue just about me.
This is about Mama Fee. You guys know her from BB25. And if you watch interviews, everybody wants to talk about BB25. Well, I really want to know a lot more about Felicia, the woman, the mother, the wife. Are you a grandma? I saw some kids in that picture.
No.
She ain't a grandma yet, but
grandma
I saw
yet.
the kids in the picture. I want to know
Nieces
about
and nephews.
Nieces and I'm saying. I want to know about this. And she might be a Republican. It's okay. I'm not. But it's okay if Mama Fee is.
I'm a Democrat.
She can be a Republican or Democrat or independent. Mama Fee probably leans more like independent. She probably votes with her heart and follows the dictates of the Lord and Savior.
Yeah, you go.
But nonetheless, it's going to be a good interview, and you're going to probably learn. You know what, girl? Somebody said ask Felicia about her past careers. That's what this is about. We're going to go into who this woman is and what makes her so exemplary. Like, what allowed her to win our hearts. Like, we saw it come across and admit across the television screen into us. We're going to get into that, and we're going to really talk about that. And that's what this is all about. So we're getting ready to go live. But we are 20 minutes behind, 21 minutes behind. We was here on time. But we're getting it set up. This is a great studio here in Atlanta. Look at all the good setup, good stuff.
It's fabulous, you guys. Come do your podcast here. They got it going on.
We do some good work in Atlanta, y'all. We do some good work. But somebody said, Omar said she's an authentic star. She is an authentic star. Omar, y'all hit the like button and let's get some more viewers here. We got to grow this account, right? We got to get Mama Fee up. She should have a huge account, but we're going to talk about that. I'm going to help her. I'm going to hook her up. I'm going to hook Mama Fee up.
There you go.
We're going to set this up right. We're going to get it good. After we eat this, we're going to go and eat good. Eating good with Mama Fee. Like Freddie G. You know, what's her name? Freddie G. Eating good with Freddie G. We're going to eat good. And we're going to have a good talk. We're going to really, really have a good time.
And you guys go to my Instagram and put something out there letting them know to come to this TikTok and watch us live.
Yeah, tell them again.
So anybody that's watching now on this TikTok, go to my Instagram, go to your Instagram, put something out there that says, hey, everybody, Mama Fee's live on TikTok so they can come watch.
Right.
We want them to see this.
What are Mama Fee fans called? The children. The children.
The children.
Mama Fee's children. Mama Fee's. We gotta come up with a name. What is the name for the Mama Fee fans? We need a name for the group.
The pseudos.
Yeah, the pseudos. The mustard seeds.
No, you just said something. The mustard seeds.
You know what? All right, mustard seeds. Head on over to Instagram and let everybody know. Somebody said the fucking Bowie James. No. Go over to Instagram and Mustard Seeds and let them know how they can see and find Mama Fee.
So we can't beat them. Mustard seeds, I like that.
That was the best.
And I'm sorry, I hit
I
you.
love the people that made all the sounds about F and Bowie James. That's one of the highlights of the season, in my opinion. I love that. I reposted it. I did. I posted all the remixes of F and Bowie James.
I've had people come and ask me to do cameos to do the F and Bowie James.
You did them?
Yeah.
Yeah, you better get your cameo money while you can. George Santos just slipped in and took it all away.
Yes.
I said,
he's killing it.
George Santos used to move on to OnlyFans and eat on there because people like to see people eat. I don't, but he could do that.
People want to see anything.
They want to see anything. You know what? You just said
That's my talent. It's my gift. My secret superpowers is I can set people up and tell you how to brain right.
Okay.
All right. You good with your seating?
Yeah, we're gonna make it work.
Okay. I'm just gonna fix your mic again. We're ready for you. All right.
Mostly shots above since I look such awkward. He's froggy.
You look fine.
Not even Kermit. He's a skinny frog. Like, you got me over looking like Toad, Frog and Toad. Like, you remember Toad? He would wear his little suits.
You look good.
Okay. And then we eat that peanut butter soup.
Peanut butter soup.
Frog and Toad. It's
I don't know about that.
It's not one you want to read. It's a British children's book. It was kind of boring.
Okay.
It wasn't like Dr. Seuss or Bernstein Bears. It was
Okay.
All right. I am sorry.
Now let's get the footage to make sure I look skinny. I don't feel skinny. Too much. We ate so much.
We can do the Photoshop package.
Yeah, slim it down. Okay. Y'all ready? We ready?
I think so.
Okay.
Yep, we're gonna. Just gotta set that timer. Jordan, are you good?
Yeah, it's not really a sign on the door.
Okay.
All right, is that timer good?
Yeah, you ready? Yeah, set it and let's rock.
Down.
Go to his camera quick and make sure it's on focus. Looking good. All right, ready? Podcast.
Everybody, welcome back to the 3+1 podcast, where we talk about people, politics, and pop culture. And today, joining us in the studio on the couch is the one and only BB25 breakout star, Mama Fee, Felicia Cannon. Mama Fee, welcome to 3+1.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you making time to come and join me and our plus ones for this discussion. And there's a lot of questions that I have, a whole lot of things that I want to know. But before I ask anything that I want to know from you, what is one word that you would use to describe yourself that you would want all of your fans, all of your mustard seeds out there to use when talking about the one and only Mama Fee?
Well, I don't know if I have one word, but if I had a slogan, it would be to dream big and believe in your dream.
Dream big and believe in your dream.
Yeah.
When I did a lot of research, I watched a lot of interviews to see what was out there about BB25's Felicia that the world didn't know, that hadn't already been asked. And I saw that a lot of people were asking questions about the show. And they were asking about the experience. And we all want to know more about that. But I really think that we're at a point in our discovery of you that we want to know more about you and who you are. Now, why would you tell your mustard seeds to dream big? How is that reflected in your own life?
Well, I say that because I think we as individuals have a tendency to think that dreams are just that. Dreams, something you put in your head, but it's never going to come to fruition. And if that's the way you think, they won't ever come true. So I always tell my son, the young people around me, basically anybody who will listen, you know, God made us unique individuals. He gave all of us talent, skills, gifts, personalities, and there's no limit on what we can achieve or accomplish. So dream big and then believe that the dream can come true, because once you get in that space, then you'll do whatever it takes to work towards the dream. If you're positive energy, you reflect positive energy, you give out positive energy, and you chase the stuff that you actually that feeds you. People, half full mindset versus a half empty mindset. If you don't, again, I'm just going to go back to, if you don't believe in your dreams, your dreams will never come true.
Have you always had that faith in yourself, in your dreams, and in the ability of God to make those dreams come true when you have them and you turn them over to Him?
I've always had the faith because I've been a Christian all my life. So I know with God, all things are possible. I believe that wholeheartedly from my heart. And I believe that what's for me, what's for you, what's for him, it's already been predestined. So you can't get caught up in, oh my God, I don't want to applaud you because it might take away from me. God has already predestined us when we're born what our life is going to look like. It's just us figuring that out because we stay in touch and in tune enough with God to know, one, what our purpose is, and then how to live in that purpose. I love life and I love people. Those are the two things, life and people. And I think if you maximize on that and try to be the best version of you all day, every day, whoever that is, everything else is going to fall into place if you believe.
If you believe. That sounds easy, but it really isn't.
It really is.
One of the things that has greatly concerned me over the course of pre-pandemic into now is the number of people in our world who have lost a faith-based center. And we're seeing it with across religious groups, organizations, and faith communities where belief is not anywhere near the level it was before the pandemic. What can a young person who's watching this, who loves you, and who sees this, how can we expect them to find this faith, to find this belief in whatever God they want to worship when they're not exposed to it? Like, how do you find that faith if you haven't been exposed to it? Or maybe even a better question is, were you exposed to this faith as a young person? Like, did you grow up in the church?
Yes.
Or is it something that God came into your life as you lived life?
Well, for me, I grew up in the church. So ever since I can remember as a kid, I've been in church. My mother, my grandmother, I tell people we lived, eat, breathed church. So we were in church 4 or 5 days a week, from church to Sunday school to Bible study to choir rehearsal to usher practice. We did everything in the church. So that truly is my foundation. But again, it's never too late. And even for people where they say, church, I know a lot of people that say I know there's a higher being, but I don't necessarily know if I believe in Jesus Christ, or it might be Allah, and it might be, Buddhism, whatever your
Yahweh,
religion
or whatever,
is,
or the universe, or
the
whatever it
universe.
is that you believe in.
But I just say, whatever it is, find something that gives you a sense of support and well-being and faith that makes you be able to trust that, again, everybody has a good life possibility if they believe they have a good life possibility. If you don't have to go to church to know God.
Everyone has the possibility of a good life. If they believe they have the possibility of a good life.
I believe that. I own that because, again, you have a tendency to begat what your thoughts are. So if you don't see yourself as ever being able to accomplish something, then everything you do, you're working in that, oh, I'll never be able to do this. Oh, I'll never be able to make that happen for me. Oh, I don't have a lot of, it's because, here's a funny, I'm going off task a little bit, but I remember years ago, and I met my husband when I was 37. I got married at 37.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was single up until then, so my first 15 years in the military, single. And I had always said when I was younger, I wasn't getting married. I was like, or at least not till I'm at least about 30 years old. Now, at 30 years old, I went into panic mode because all my friends were married, had kids and all that. Now I'm thinking, uh-oh, Felicia, you may have done this wrong. But I remember one time when I was single and I kept trying to figure out, why don't my relationships work? And somebody said to me, because all you ever say is men aren't any good. There aren't any good men out there. So then what do you seem to draw yourself to? You're living in what you're speaking. If you believe all men are bad and there ain't no good ones out there, guess what? Everybody that you run into is going to be them bad ones that ain't no good. But if you tell yourself, there is somebody out there for me. There are good men out there. Everybody isn't a user and abuser and a this and a that. But if you start living like you believe that, you'll find yourself ending up in spaces where those people are. And one day, that's how I met my husband in a class. We were in a contracting class together when we were in the Air Force. I wasn't looking for a boyfriend or nothing like that. And we met there. The class was 2 weeks. We stayed connected. And here's the real crazy. 4 months later, we got married. And we've been married 26 years.
That is an unbelievable story. But it's a beautiful story because a lot of people are out there 35 and single and thinking like it's time to give it up. Even though 35, we both know at our age is so young.
It is young.
And
it is young.
We know even at our age, we are looking into the future and seeing endless possibilities for the remainder of life. And we know that it will be long. We know that the calling over our lives and the calling over what we will do in this world is so long ahead. And we have the time to do it because that's the grace of God.
Yes.
So much was said in your statement. Like this could be that could be unrolled and unpacked.
Yes.
And so you met the man that you have spent 26 years with.
Yes.
At 37.
Yes.
In a class.
In a class.
Then you guys courted, dated, were together for 4 months.
4 months.
And then you married.
And then
How did you know that Daddy Fee was the one for Mama Fee?
So, again, another one of those, I used to always say, how do you know when you found the right person? And when I met Dwayne, I stopped asking myself that question.
Because you just knew.
I just knew. So it's like, I wasn't saying, how do I know he's the right person? I was like, he's the right guy. This is the guy right here. I think he's the person for me. I stopped questioning it when I got in the room with the right person.
It was no longer a question.
It was no longer a question. And I'll tie that back to dreams and aspirations and all of that. Coming through life and in my 30s and 40s and even 50s, when I would be banging my head against the table trying to figure out, Felicia, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. I've learned over the years that anything that's supposed to be, I won't say you don't have to work hard for stuff, because you do have to work hard. But if you're getting resistance in every corner and everything you do, that's when you have to stop and say, okay, come on, God. Tell me what I'm supposed to be doing. You got to slow down and say, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Sometimes we're trying to force ourselves into spaces we ain't supposed to be in. Because when it's meant to be, it really just kind of lays it out. And that is my belief, that when you're doing what's destined for you, it really just kind of flows right in.
It's
and
the
you don't
flow.
it just works.
And when you face the resistance, that's when it's not meant to be, or you're out of flow. You're not in the flow when you're facing the resistance. That's what, I learned a long time ago from watching the Oprah Winfrey show.
Yes.
So
but again, I want to say, but don't look at challenges as where you quit every time you hit a roadblock. So I don't want people to get confused, because you still have to know when something's happening.
How do you know the difference between resistance as in it being a challenge and resistance when you're not in the flow? How have you delineated the two? Or discern, the better word is, how have you been able, or throughout the course of your life, learned how to discern the two things?
So I'll go back to, how do I know when I've met the right person? For me, and with my faith, when I'm working in the space I'm supposed to be in, I have a sense of peace in what I'm doing. When I'm working in something I know I ain't got no business doing, I'm mad, I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I can't figure out how to make it work, my head hurts, and I'm still saying, should I really be doing this? So again, I believe that when you're in the space you're supposed to be in, you get a sense of peace to say, this is what you're supposed to be doing. That's for me. That's what works for me.
So
God somehow gives me, I'm in tune enough with God, my spirit, myself to know when I'm in the space I'm supposed to be in.
You have to know you.
You have to know you.
And you have to be able to listen to the voices in you
yes.
and the voices coming to you
yes.
to be able to discern when it's a challenge or when it's out of flow.
Yes.
Okay. So you did how many years in the United States Air Force?
20. I went in and said I was going to do 4 years and get out. In fact, when I was younger, I swore I'd never go in the military. And then because of some situations that were going on, I ended up going in. I was going to do 4 years and get out. And 20 years later, I retired from the Air Force. Best decision I ever made in my life.
I think that, I do want to I want to talk about that. I do want to, because it's a part of the story.
Yes.
Like when you look at the faith of Felicia Cannon, because we all know your famous quote, like that's why your followers, your fans, those who love you online, who saw Big Brother 25, we call them the mustard seeds. Mm-hmm. Because you constantly said, as long as I have the faith of a mustard seed, I can see this through.
Yeah.
And it worked every time. We saw you on the block week after week. We saw the scheming and the manipulating in the background to get you out of the house. But then we also saw, like, over the course of a week, everything changed.
Yes.
We saw God work it out. We saw your faith of a mustard seed manifest in you staying and staying and staying and making it all the way until the final four
yes.
of BB25. I think maybe going down in history as one of the, I don't want to say oldest players, but for lack of a better word, second oldest player to make it that far in the game.
Yes.
A black woman who lives in Atlanta.
Actually, the oldest person to make it that far.
That's what I was thinking.
The second oldest person in the history of the show.
That's what I was saying. No one of your age has ever made it that far in the game.
No.
Again, all of that. So with that mustard seed faith and manifesting out, your time, I believe, in the Air Force, all of that contributed to you being the player and the woman that you are. So when you say it was a great decision that you ever made, how so?
Well, it catapulted my life in the sense that, I went in at 22. So from 18 to 22, I didn't go to college when I got out of high school, because we didn't have the money for me to go to college, and I didn't know enough or have enough wherewithal to know about trying to get scholarships and stuff like that. And I just kept jumping from job to job to job. I would have good jobs. I worked at the post office. I worked as a teacher's aide. I worked cosmetology, but nothing seemed to last. And I knew I had a good work ethic, but just couldn't land anywhere, being a young, kind of broke, poor black female without a degree, trying to figure out how can I get into something business corporate, because that's what interested me. I knew I had leadership ability, but still didn't know what that looked like. And so I figured if nothing else, I could go into the Air Force and I would gain a skill set. And from there, hopefully something would work out. Well, I went into the Air Force. Actually, my first 5 years, I was a cop. The recruiter thought I was crazy, and he's like, "Nah, I don't think you really want to do that." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do." So I went in as a cop, And there's I won't say a funny behind that, but I wanted to be a cop because I had experienced some domestic violence from a guy that I was dating. And that's really what made me, I knew if I didn't leave home, he would hurt me or I would hurt him. And I was seeing past what I thought that could look like just because, and I'm going to say a lot right here, but I remember I used to sleep with a knife under my pillow. That's a lot.
As a young girl. I mean, you were 18 and 20.
Yeah,
you were a very young woman.
Yes. And so I had watched my mom experience domestic violence. And so when it started happening to me, I said, this ain't going to be my story. This is not going to be my story. So rather than wallow in what I had seen and accept that as my future, that's when I talk about that glass half full and trusting and believing. I saw better for me and said, I got to get out of here. I got to do something different. That's what made me sign up for the Air Force. And I wanted to be a cop because I wanted to know how to protect myself. I wanted to learn how to shoot a gun. And I wanted to know all of that stuff where if anybody messed with me going forward, I could protect me. After 5.5 years, I retrained. I went into contracting. And then I did that for 15 years. And then my 19 years federal government service, I also did contracting for another 19 years. So yeah, I've been through a lot, seen a lot in my life, but I've still always believed that anything is possible. I don't care where you come from. A mom, single mom, 5 kids. I'm second oldest of the 5. But my mom always taught us that all things are possible. Never box yourself in and limit yourself. And I always believed that. And I ran with that.
Do you think that your early dating experiences had an impact on your decision to say, I'm not getting married?
Absolutely.
And the love that you found in your husband helped change that, help reset that thinking?
Yes, absolutely. And I have to say, and Dwayne would probably laugh at me and shake his head yes, because probably our first 10 years were really rough because I had been by myself for so long. And I also had the mindset based on my mom and what I saw, and just even because she was married and divorced twice. And then from the time she got that second divorce, she never remarried. And that was when my youngest sister, right after my youngest sister was born. So my mom's been single for the rest of her life. And she kind of had that, you don't need no man. As a woman, you got to be able to take care of yourself, fend for yourself, do everything for yourself. So even when I got married, I was still I was carrying that mindset. Even though I have you, I don't need you. And so you can't work a marriage like that. And it took me a minute to realize,
that's powerful.
That's powerful.
Say it again. You can't work a marriage like that.
You can't work a marriage like that because there's a give and take. And you have to be willing to trust somebody else. And it took me a long time to realize that I could trust our relationship and that I didn't have to try to do it all. And because I used to always say, I don't need you, I want you. But I also had to realize that men have a sense of wanting to be needed. They want to be the protector and all of that. So when you're constantly saying, I don't need you, you don't need to do nothing, it takes a toll on them too. So I've learned a lot over the last 26 years about how to be a good wife. And I'm still learning.
Is there anything that younger Felicia at 30, is there any way she could have realized that?
I don't think so. I think I had to live my life and go through the experiences to get where I am today.
Because I have a lot of friends who say that, who have that thinking. And I think to myself the exact same thing that you said. You just got to live long enough to know.
Yes.
You have to live long enough to see it out.
Yes.
Because we all do need someone.
Yes.
And men absolutely do always need. No matter the man, they need to always be needed.
Yes.
I can't say why. It's just, I think, a part of the inherent DNA. I'm the exact same way. Like, I have to feel needed in a relationship and valuable in that relationship for it to work. So I think that's a profound statement that, and it kind of goes into some current issues where we have, like with Jonathan Owens, and Simone Biles. That's something that hit the news this week. It was a big issue.
Yeah.
And everyone had a whole lot to say, but people, who didn't say a whole lot was Simone herself, because I think that she understands her life partner and vice versa.
Yes.
And I think that's, that's a profound statement in it. When you look at your time in the Air Force and your time as a contractor, what lesson from that experience did you take into the BB25 house?
People. Watching. I'm a people person. I've watched Big Brother since its inception in 2000.
From the start.
From the start. So we've watched it. Now, I never watched the live feeds, though, until I got back home. And my husband had recorded a lot of the live feeds so I could see all the stuff that was going on that I missed. That was scary. But it was the game. And so, you know, at some point, though, I said, okay, I don't want to see no more live feeds. Because there was a whole lot of goofy going on that I clearly missed. But with that being said, I knew going in the house at 63 years old, that was going to be my challenge. But I also knew that I know how to read people pretty good. And I know how to build relationship with people. And I know how to get people to trust me. Now, even with that being said, you know, the whole time you're in that Big Brother house, because everybody's trying to figure out how to get to the end. It's a game. And so everybody's aligning with everybody. I already said I think they had more alliances this season than they probably have ever had in the history of Big Brother. Everybody was in 4, 5, 6 alliances. And at some point, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And you can't align yourself with the whole house. So at some point, you have to figure out who's my real general alliance that I trust and believe in. And you have to be at some point willing to stick with 1 or 2, 3 people that you say, no matter what, I'm sticking with them.
That was something that really only 2 people in the house did, you and Nicole. Only you and Nicole from you know, outside looking in, seem to have true loyalty in the game.
Yes.
Do you look back now and does that make you feel differently about your housemates?
It doesn't. You know, for a minute, I was a little, I'll be honest, say I was a little offended when I started watching some of the live feeds and saying, dang, I didn't know they felt like that. You know, I clearly wasn't reading people as good as I thought I should. But you know, it's funny, even though I befriended everybody in the house, and I probably trusted in some people more than I should have, my gut still always told me, because I would go in the diary room and say, God, forgive me if I'm wrong. My gut tells me this person or that person is sabotaging me. I don't know how yet, but I know there's something going on. And so God would always speak to me and say, just watch, just watch. And that's why a lot of times I could figure out what was going on without even holding the conversation. I just have to sit on the couch or sit in the yard and just watch the movement of people. When they distanced themselves from you, when they got in your face, you always knew there was, okay, something else is going on because now they're up in my face again. So it's paying attention to people. And that's what, honestly, the military probably was my best source of teaching me how to read people. Because in 20 years, I moved 9 times. And every time you drop yourself in a new office, it's all new people. You don't know nobody. You walk in blind. Except for my last 5 years when I was married to my husband. But prior to that, for 15 years, every time I went somewhere, I was the only person I knew when I landed there. And so it's starting over. So you have to learn to read people quick. And that became a skill set that I gained because I moved around so much in the military.
There are so many lessons you gain from military service.
Yes.
But I've not heard that, but it makes so much sense. You even see it in the young lady who won the Squid Games Challenge, who also served in the military. And her amazing and uncanny ability to identify people and to play that game. It served her very, very well. That's a very powerful point that you made. Now, I want to talk about, a lot of people in their interviews with you, they've asked some of the questions. I was like, that's not a question you should ever ask anybody, where it's like, who don't you like, or who don't, we're not going to ask that. I'll never ask that. That's not, I don't believe in that. It's not I don't think it's appropriate. But I do want to know from the BB25 group, who are some people, give me 2 people that you know you will be friends with for life.
Mimi, for sure, and actually Blue, Mimi and Blue. I've stayed in touch with Mimi and Blue. Jag, Riley, Heisem. I believe all stayed connected
Really?
with Heisem. Yes.
You know, Heisem,
I loved Heisem.
You know, I didn't, but I guess I need to, but again, you'll tell me why I need to learn to love him. His personality was so off-putting, but yeah, that's just me. That's me.
Yeah.
Now, when you say I don't think you should have ever watched those feeds. I hate that you did that.
Yeah.
But what are some things, not about you, but things that you saw in the feeds that shocked you, that surprised you? Like, what?
Well, when I found out that different people, we had the Brown Sugar Babes, and that was me, Cerie, Jared, and Mimi. And I would have held tight with that 4 from beginning to end, had we not
you
imploded.
And Mimi, or I love the name Nicole.
Yeah.
You guys thought you were.
We thought we were solid. And again, now, on the backside, now learning that Cerie and Jared were mother and son, that makes a whole lot of sense. It explains a lot. And then the fact that Izzy realized on day 1 and went to them and said, look, I know this is your son. And so in order to get her to hold that secret, then they had to keep her close.
Be loyal to Izzy.
They had to be close to her because they was afraid if they didn't, she would tell it. But what I guess the piece I didn't appreciate is once they realized that she knew this was after, I believe, Cerie had approached me to do a final 2. And so I guess a part of me still believes, though, if we really had this final 4, you should have trusted me and Mimi enough to let us in on that so that then we could be aware, and again, then we'd be part of the protection. So we were thinking we were in an alliance that really truly never was an alliance.
That was never an alliance.
Never an alliance.
And you guys were operating to protect an alliance that didn't exist.
That didn't exist.
Where you could have been playing the game totally different, and you could have been creating different bridges to people to help your game later on. And, and it hurt Nicole quickly. Like, she suffered, very soon after. One thing that really, I hated the fact that Cerie was on the show. I'll say it. People won't say it. You can do it right on camera. I hated it. Because I feel as though being that she's a reality TV legend is going to created an unfair bias in the house toward her.
Yes.
And it also skewed the fans' experience with this season.
Yes.
And was really learning and appreciating the fullness of the cast. I also hated the twist. I don't like when if it wasn't for you and Nicole, is there anybody else? No. If it wasn't for you and Nicole, I probably would have stopped watching the show. But I wanted to see how far you would go. And my money was on Nicole. Like, she was the one who I thought could win it all. Then I, said maybe Bowie Jane is going to steal this because of how she played the game. But I wanted to see that. So I did miss an episode. But I wasn't as invested because I didn't like the twist. I didn't like the fact that Jared and Cerie were on the show together. I didn't want Cerie on the show at all. But then I definitely liked the fact that was her son. Do you feel as though those types of twists are necessary for Big Brother to be successful?
No. I too, and nothing against Cerie, but I think anybody, because they've had 2 people, they've had a father and a daughter before. They've had twins, identical twins, where they flopped in and out of the house and had to feed each other the information so they would know what was going on when one came in and the other one, that kind of thing. But I think the fact that, you hit the nail on the head, the fact that Cerie has done reality TV for so long, and so she knows how these games are played, so she had experience that nobody else in there had. And she had just won the Trader. And so for them to bring her in and have her son where they already have a built-in something, I just do think that put everybody else in the house at a disadvantage. And I do believe my game would have played out completely different had she not been in the house. Even if Jared was in the house, if she wasn't, I do believe my game would have come out completely different.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think Jared would have been a factor in your game. I don't think you would have been a factor in the game.
Right.
I do believe that BB25 was a great season.
Yes,
I think it was one of the best seasons of gameplay, and I did like the twist in terms of from the housemates. What you guys did in the turns that you guys made, but I didn't like the production of the show for this season. So one thing, so that's interesting about the feeds and what you've learned from the feeds. What's one lesson that you're taking from the BB25 experience that you're going to use as you move forward with your own personal life? So we know what you took from the military, but what can you take from BB25?
Well, it's something that I've been telling myself actually probably since COVID, and a lot of things have just happened in my life with regards to my family and some friends, and so I started getting in this mind process. Shut up, Felicia. And with that meaning that sometimes I just talk too much. I do get my feelings hurt, but only by people that I'm really invested in. You know, the friends that are out here that I don't talk to that much. I've always said the only people that can really hurt you are the people that you care about the most. And so I have a tendency to sometimes speak too much. I'm opinionated, but I always try to see stuff from both sides, from your perspective and your perspective, my perspective and your. So I try to see both sides of the coin. So a lot of people think that means that I'm flaky. It's like, no, I ask a lot of questions. I'm trying to figure out where you're coming from when you make a statement, trying to understand that, but then also trying to get you to see where I'm coming from. In the house, I realized that, one, I aligned too fast because you really don't know nobody on day one or day two. So why are you building alliances? And then
But you related to people, or you thought you could.
Yes.
It's the relator, right? You know, I'm a Gallup Strengths coach. I don't know if you've taken the Gallup Strengths.
I have. And relator is one of communicator and relator.
It's clear that you're a relator. It stands out. Like in what you're saying, it's clear that you're a relator. And relators seek out like-minded people.
Yes.
And when they don't find that, before they write anyone off,
yes,
or cast them aside, they go through a lengthy investigation process,
yes,
to find out, well, how can I relate to you? Let me see if there's anything in you and in your story I can attach to,
yes,
because you want the relationship.
Yes. And okay, so trying to, in being a relator, the one thing that and I've known this, and it comes back from the military, just growing up as kids, you know, just our whole family dynamic. You have to learn to accept people for who they are. So even like, I loved America and Corey. I knew they were lying about everything in the house. But as people, they really were
good kids,
fun, good young people.
Yeah, like
everybody in the house, honestly, I can't say there's anybody in that house that I truly just didn't like. There were people in the house where I thought their gameplay didn't benefit them at all.
They made bad decisions.
They made bad decisions.
And that's why they didn't make it to the Final Four.
There you go. Because they just... Cameron, I'm just going to say this. Yeah. Cameron was one where he played an outstanding competition game.
One of the best players of all time at competing.
At competing.
I've never seen anything like it. It was amazing. He was so steady. He was so focused, and he was so fast with it.
Yes, and he was very driven. But he did not have relationship skills. That was his downfall. And I remember saying to him several times, so what's your strategy? I said, because you realize that when you're not an HOH, nobody even wants to hold a conversation with you. So that tells you haven't built relationships right. They don't like you. They just stay close enough to you so they can stay in front of what they think you're getting ready to do.
Right.
Relationships they mean everything. So I tried to stay in close proximity to people to understand them, how they flowed. And once I figured out your personality and how I needed to deal with you, I deal with people accordingly. But that's how I deal with people in life. You don't have to like everybody to be able to get along with them, to be able to work with them, to be able to be in the room with them. You just got to be able to manage them while you're in their space and they're in your space.
And you know, that is, I think that's a great statement. I think that's a great lesson that we need to take more of it. Like, you know, you must see this interview is chock full of beautiful lessons, quotes, and sound bites from Mama Felicia. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. When you talked about Cameron. Cameron wasn't liked by the housemates, but he became America's favorite. How? How do you think?
I have no idea. Honestly, I really don't. That was kind of surprising, but at the same time, we all sat there and joked and said it would be hilarious if Cameron got America's favorite, because a lot of times people always like the
villain.
They like the villain, and Cameron played a villain in there.
He played
for
it
the
well.
most part.
And you know, I think one thing that there's a subset of people who will be very attracted to Cameron and his look and his beliefs and what you could see on the feed. So I think that was a big part of it.
Yes.
But also the fact that people hated him so much. I mean, in the beginning, because I'm a big Twitter follower, BB Twitter. People hated him, but then he kept winning. And then it shifted to where it's like, we love him. I did not like them bringing him back and saving him multiple times. I thought that was also unfair. Multiple points in the season I was going to tune out. But you kept me in there, Mama Fee. I kept watching and said, well, let me see if Alicia going to pull this out. And you kept pulling it out too.
Yeah.
But because, and they didn't save you.
No.
Production didn't save you. They saved Cameron. And they saved Jag. And I hated that.
They saved Jared.
This is just me. I'm about to say this between us. But it's really not because it's not being filmed. I hated the fact that Jag won BB25. I was going for Matt in the final two. And let me tell you why I hated that Jag. Because he was saved. He was saved by production.
Yes.
I don't like on reality TV shows when they save someone and that someone wins because they were given an unfair advantage.
Yes.
That's just, I said it. I put it out there. Zachary Kirk. So, Mama Fee, well, you know, in now, you know, I think that's, we talked a lot about BB25, but what we haven't talked about is what made you do it. What made you, a 62-year-old accomplished realtor from Atlanta, Air Force veteran, do this? What made you say this is the reality show for me?
I like a challenge. And I've never looked at my age as a deficit. I feel like I'm youthful in spirit, in heart. And again, I knew that this show was built off competitions, but even more so off relationships. And that's my strength. And so I said, I can do this. You go live in a house with 16 people you don't know. Well, like I said, in the military, all I did was move around and meet new people. So that didn't bother me. And I've always said, you know, we do watch Survivor and Big Brother. Well, Survivor, you know, they out in the woods and they get dirty and all that kind of stuff. And you got bugs. And I just said, no. You done got too old for that one, for real. But I said, I can do Big Brother because you're in the house. And I went in with the mindset that I have to find an edge once I get in there so that I can have some staying power. I went in knowing that I was going to create family dinners. That was I said, Felicia, the way to people's heart is through food. And so you're going to go in and you're going to say, how about if I cook dinner for everybody every day? One, managing the food and the resources that they bring us because I only brought us food once a week. And so again, I chased a dream. I always said, I'm going to apply and I believe I'll get on. And I retired last June in 2022, after 2022. And I told my husband I was going to put on do an application. And he kind of laughed at me at first and said, Felicia, do you really think you're going to get on Big Brother? And I said, yes, I do. And again, once I did it,
I had the faith?
I had the faith. And I said, Dwayne, I'm walking through the door. And I even did my video with me saying, Big Brother, I'm walking out my door into your door. You need me. And when I got that call in like March, oh my God, from that point on, I started packing my bags in May.
But they did need you. It was you that kept people like me tuned into the show. Because I wanted to stop watching. I was mad at multiple points. But there has to be a character like you that people like me can relate to that will keep us engaged in this show and keep us sticking through it. And you were that one. So they did need you.
Yeah, I guess they did. And here I tell people I didn't play a role. You know, one day I was sitting on the couch with Blue. And Blue said, I can't wait till we get out of the house so that we can see everybody for who they really are. She said, because, you know, I'm only showing about 20 to 30% of who I am. And I thought, my God, well, who are you, Blue?
Not an influencer.
Right. And so I told her.
She's an attorney or an accountant or something?
No, she's a marketing.
PR marketing, yes.
Yes. I love Blue to death. She had a lot of personality and all of that, and she still does. But I told her, I said, well, here's what I'll say to that. When I get out, when you guys see me the night of the thing, when you see me 6 months later, 5 years later, the same Felicia that you saw for 96 days in here, that's the Felicia you're going to see on the outside because I'm not playing a role. I'm just showing you me.
Been.
All I know how to do is do me.
Yeah, you know, to the people like the Blue, I will definitely follow her social medias and give her another look.
Yeah.
She wasn't a character who a housemate I didn't like.
Yeah.
But it was the inauthenticity of that character.
Yes.
That it was so clearly not genuine.
Yes.
That it was a turnoff for me. Very similar. I hate to say, because I really wanted to embrace my Mississippi sister Jasmine, also an Atlanta girl. But that accent was not Mississippi. It didn't resonate with me.
Yeah, she worked it too hard.
Yeah, she worked apple pie a little bit too hard. And BB24, whereas Taylor was genuinely Taylor.
Yes.
And it was so easy to fall in love with her.
Yes.
Flaws and all. Because
Yes.
I was able to see the flaws, and I loved all of it in that experience. So now that BB25 has come and gone, you are back in Atlanta.
Yes.
And you're selling houses.
Yes.
Why is now the time to buy?
Well, people have to get past this high interest rate. And
It's going down.
It's going down. And it's going to keep going down, I believe. But even if it doesn't, and it just kind of stays right here for a minute, if you need to buy, if you want to buy, I say to like my son, he's 24, he still lives at home with us because I thought, why go out and pay $1,500, $2,000, $2,500 on somebody else's property when you can be putting that towards a property that's yours, that you own? The interest rates are going to go back down again and you refinance. And so I'd rather see people continue to buy and have something of their own as an investment. And then when the time is right, refinance, sell. But I don't believe the prices of houses are going to go down. And so if you just keep waiting, you just keep waiting into higher prices.
Won't go down.
No.
Not in this area. Not
No.
if you live in Metro Atlanta. The prices won't go
They're
down.
not going to go down because this is a very transient state. And one thing I have
But
noticed
rent
being
isn't going to
here,
go down either.
Rent
That's
ain't
the
going
problem,
down
too.
either because everything is exploding. Atlanta is growing. People are still coming in. They don't have to go down. So all you're doing is weighting yourself into higher prices. So why not invest in yourself?
What niche of the market or what part of the market is your niche? So if I'm someone out there and I'm catching this on YouTube, why would I need to contact Felicia? Is it new homeowners? Is it people who are seeking investment properties? Are there people that are getting, certain kind of rentals? Who needs to contact you?
Really, anybody can
Everybody
contact me,
needs-
everybody, but my heart is with first-time home buyers and veterans. That's my focus. First-time home buyers. And I realize
You don't
first-time
have a
home
lot
buyers,
of realtors who say first-time homeowners because
they're
hard
buying
to
at the low
please.
end.
Well, they're
hard to please, and they're buying lower, less expensive houses,
Yeah,
but that
yeah.
doesn't bother me because I want people to learn to invest in themselves, realizing that get that first house, you'll get the second house, you'll get the third. We're on our third house now, but we had to start somewhere. And so again, I say to people, rather than paying somebody else's rent or lease or mortgage, get your own. Do something for yourself and
Yeah.
start thinking about leaving a legacy for somebody in your family.
And for a young person, one lesson from my life, I bought my first home. I had no idea I was going to do it, but I bought my first home at 23. I was not as a teacher, but I was like, I bought the home because again, my rent for a 2-bedroom apartment was $800.
Okay.
And I thought that was too much. And I got my house. My mortgage was like $874 locked in for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house.
See?
And that's what it was. And I rented the upstairs both rooms. I rented both rooms out for $400 a month.
Wow.
And right.
So the renters were paying your mortgage.
The renters paid the mortgage.
There you
and
go.
And I'm like, I wish more young people could see that. You don't have to
Yes.
you don't have to get a single family home with a single family. You can get it and then the home can make money for you.
There you go.
But paying $3,000 a month for rent
It's ridiculous.
it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And shame on
The world we live in the city we live in,
Yes.
and the leaders that have created the infrastructure for those kind of price gouges in the city to occur. I'll say it so you don't have to.
There
That's
you
part
go.
of what I do
There
on this
you
side.
go.
Channel. Mama Fee, this has been a pleasure. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your service to our country.
Thank you.
Also to Daddy Dwayne for that as well.
Shout out Dwayne.
We can't love on our veterans enough, so thank you so much.
Yes.
And just thank you for coming and taking the time to spend with us. We, the Mustard Seeds, love you, and we can't wait to see and hear more from you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It has been my pleasure. I'll come back anytime you need me to. And I want to give a shout out because I just got some t-shirts and some hoodies that say Mama Fee, Faith of a Mustard Seed. So I'm going to have it posted on my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of that as soon as we get the storefront up, live and running. But it has been a pleasure. And all I want to say to people is, do you be your authentic self? Every day, wake up and try to be the best version of you. Yesterday's gone. What you going to do today?
And that's that. That's it. For this clip, we can do another clip.
Okay.
Just go into it.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're gonna do two more clips. They're that brief.
Okay.
So now, we're gonna cue you up for the other page, the Atlanta page. Okay.
Okay.
Reset. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
I look right to the camera and go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Everybody, welcome back to the table. And today we're not at the table, we're at the couch because we have a very, very special guest here with you. Right here, Atlanta's very own, the one and only Felicia Cannon from BB25, Big Brother 25, the one and only Mama Fee. Mama Fee, welcome to my YouTube channel, Zach in the ATL. How are you, my love?
I'm doing fabulous. I'm excited to be here, and I appreciate this opportunity.
You know what? What we talk about on this channel is food.
Ooh.
And food in Atlanta. One of the most amazing things about watching you in the Big Brother house was hearing your grocery orders. His name was Mr. B.
Mr. B.
Mr. B. You would tell Mr. B what you want. And you would be, you were clearly, you wanted a certain kind of ground beef. You wanted that onion powder. What role did food play for you as a housemate on Big Brother 25?
Really, cooking family meals is probably my saving grace in the house because, you know, I landed on the block 8 times. And I really believe the first 3 or 4 times, they really, when they thought about should they put me off, they were thinking, Mama Fee cooks dinner for us most of the time. So we can let her stay a little while longer.
Did you know that your ability to cook would be your saving grace?
I went in believing that if anything would be my connection to the house guests, because the majority of them were younger, and I know most 20-year-olds really don't cook home-cooked food except for junk. And so I went in with the mindset, if I can actually cook for the house, I'll have more staying power. That's how I'll get my initial connection. And then once they're drawn to me from that, then I'll just work on building relationships with people to become my staying power.
What were the best dishes you made in this house? What were the big hits? Because they liked everything. I mean, they liked everything.
I think one of the biggest hits was early in the show when we had, I think Hyson was the HOH, and he brought down 3 different kinds of fishes. And so we had some fried fish, some baked fish, and some pan-seared fish. I think one was a tilapia, one was a salmon, and one was a tuna. And so we just said, okay, we only had 2 eyes that worked on the stove because of how the stove was situated in the house. So I said, how do we do this so that we don't have one part of the food getting cold? So I had to put something in the oven, something on top of the stove, and then something.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was just being creative. And then also knowing that we only got food once a week. We had to stretch the food.
What does that mean? You only got food once a week?
So they fill the refrigerator every Saturday. And everybody coming on the show, they asked you all the different foods you like, allergies, things like that. So they knew who was gluten-free, who was dairy-free, like I don't do dairy, that kind of thing. So they had all the different varieties of foods, and then the light stuff, your fruits and vegetables, your meats, who eats pork, who doesn't eat pork, chicken, fish, beef, all of that. But the food got delivered usually Friday night, Saturday morning. We could eat as much as we want. There was no limit on how much you could eat a day. But when the food was gone, you didn't get no more till next Saturday.
Like if you guys ate all the food in 3 days, there would be no food in the house.
There wouldn't have been. Now, I do believe, because there were times where, you know, like when we started making cakes, and so we needed more eggs and butter for that kind of stuff. And so we were doing things, and I would say, okay, Mr. B, I know it's only Wednesday, but we don't have no more eggs. Can you please bring us some more eggs?
We saw, right. And they would bring them.
And they would bring them. But they still were trying to let us know, okay, y'all got to ration this food better. We told you.
They said that.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Slow your roll.
Was there anybody else in the house who could cook?
Oh, yeah. So Sari cooked, Blue cooked, Red cooked. And Mimi cooked a couple of things. Mimi did more of the salads and prep and stuff, but
She helped.
She helped.
She was, yeah.
But Blue actually did cooking. Cerie did cooking, and Red did cooking. They actually
Red was
cooked.
the housemaid I wanted to see go further.
Yeah.
I would have rather seen Cameron go and Red stay, because I think that Red had a lot more to give the world that we didn't get to see.
Red had big personality. He really was. He was a character in the house that was enjoyable.
That was enjoyable.
Yeah.
Now, you're here in Atlanta, and that's what this is all about, food in the city of Atlanta. What is your favorite restaurant?
Ooh.
Whatever it is, just tell it because people gonna want to go. They want to know, as someone, because you can cook, and we know you can cook. So where do you eat when you want to eat out?
There's 2 places in Kennesaw, Ackworth. One of them is Capers, and it sits right off of Barrett Parkway, and then the other one is Fish Time. And I really do love both of those restaurants.
So I'm going to get in my car, and I'm going to go a long way up to Barrett Parkway, and I'm going to Capers. What am I going to order?
They have, it's kind of New Orleans, Louisiana, something. So they have the catfish, and they have, they've got a little bit of everything. Salads, good soups. They have like a what do you call it? A shade crab chowder. They do a fabulous mixed seafood pasta. They have their ribeye is a Hawaiian ribeye. They have really good drinks too. If you want to, sangrias, they have a white one and a red one. The sangrias are to die for. Everything that they make, they're at Capers and Fish Time. Same owner.
He owns both of these
They
restaurants.
own both of them.
Are they side by side? They're close?
They're probably about 5, because one is in Kennesaw and one's in Ackworth. So they're probably about
Ackworth,
5-7
far.
miles. Yeah.
That's far.
But it is
I
worth
ain't going
it.
no Fish Time. Fish Time is in Ackworth.
Fish Time is in Ackworth.
We ain't having no Fish Time.
They
I'm
don't
having
be-
Mama Feet Time. It won't be no Fish Time. That's too far.
You'll go and you'll love them. They are,
That's too
when
far.
the door opens, they don't
Yeah,
open till
definitely can't
5:30.
get a sangria up in Cobb. It's not even gonna happen.
The drinks are so good.
Well, I'm gonna have to come over. Daddy D, I'm gonna have to stay over there. I'm gonna have to get my sangria and take me a nap, and you make me a cup of coffee, and then I'll get back on the road.
Okay. Now, I'll be honest. A lot of people probably say, "Oh, but I love Papados."
No, I think
I love Papados.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Papados, because I'm a firm believer that, and not, you can say it's fortunately or unfortunately, that really the best overall fried seafood you can get in the city of Atlanta can only be gotten at Papados. Many restaurants have failed us greatly, but I will say this. I just went to Papados. My best friend lives in Dubai. He comes he's an educator in Dubai, so he comes every summer and he'll stay with me, and he'll come also at Christmas time before going to Mississippi, where we're both from, to visit his family. And we always go to Papados. And Papados, this past time, we went to one in Alpharetta.
Okay.
They were featuring is it thistlefish? It was a fish that's a minnow. Okay? They are featuring a fish that is eaten by fish. It's a minnow, and it really I don't think it should be consumed by human beings. And I'm thinking to myself, are times that hard that we are selling minnows at Papados? So that is something that, by the time this airs, because, we just hit 2024, I may have made a whole TikTok about attacking Papados.
Okay.
But again, I still hold to the fact that they are the most consistently good fried seafood restaurant in our city. But I don't want them serving them minnows.
They take that. See, I love their gumbo. For some reason, I just really love their gumbo. Their fried catfish.
Excellent.
They have a lump crab and shrimp cocktail. This to die for. It's really good, and they make good drinks. But here's another place. Dwayne, what's the name of the place we went to a couple of weeks ago? It's in Fayetteville. Oh my God!
All the way down to Fayetteville. I'm not gonna be able to do it.
See,
Too far.
I am a foodie.
I am too, but I ain't going that far.
I will go if somebody.
I'm also a gassy, saving my gas. That's not you. It gotta be good. So I'm gonna try them. I'm gonna try both. I'm definitely gonna go to Capers, and I'm gonna go down to Fayetteville. And where am I gonna go?
And I can't remember the name of it, Dwayne. What's the name?
It better not be Frost Bistro. No shade to Rashida and Kurt, but I'm not going down there for the Frost
text
Bistro.
from Lisa. Oh, it's gonna come to me when I'm gonna let you know. It's fabulous. It's called it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it.
I'm going to literally take the clip of you saying it, and then I'm going to be like, I'm here. And that'll become the TikTok when I go down to review it. What did you eat, and what should I try when we get to this restaurant in Fayetteville?
I ate a fish. It was a fish, shrimp, and grits. And the fish was cod. I think it was cod. And I usually don't like cod. It was a fried cod. Everything that came out that day was delicious. Absolutely delicious. They did it right.
Now, how do you like your grits, though? Are we liking soupy grits? Do we like
I
a drier
like them kind of a medium. I don't like them runny, but I don't like thick, hard grits.
You don't like the thick, hard. You don't like the thick grits.
No.
Do we like a savory grit or a sweet grit?
More savory.
Savory more so than sweet.
More savory. And so that's why I don't do them too often because of the cheese, and me and dairy don't really get along. But I love a creamy, cheesy, flavorful, savory grit.
When you...
South City Kitchen is good too.
South City Kitchen is up and down. It's inconsistent.
If you go to the one in Buckhead.
Okay,
if you go to the one
I go to the one in Midtown, so I'm gonna have to try the one in Buckhead.
Go to the one in Buckhead. I've done both.
I've not reviewed that.
Not trying to down anybody, but the one in Buckhead off of Peachtree, right across from Lennox, that's the one to go.
That's the one to go to. So I'm gonna definitely give them a try. Now, as someone who cooks at home and does a great job with it, what is your go-to dish when you need comfort?
Well, believe it or not, my go-to something is sweets. I'm a sweet eater. That's a negative. So I like pastries. If I'm cooking it, probably I'd have to say I love salads, and that's going to sound crazy, but I love a good salad. I like all different textures, so I like a lot of different. I might put 2, 3, 4 different kinds of lettuce in a salad, and then with the tomatoes and the red peppers and the corn and the bacon, and then I might have grilled shrimp. I might have some salmon. I might have some chicken. But to me, I
love a good salad too.
I love a good salad, and when I go to restaurants, if I don't think I'm getting a fresh lettuce salad, I ain't messing with it.
Yeah.
Because I like a good salad.
Will you send it back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I see like the butt in there, the
I'm gonna send it back.
Yeah, it's like this lettuce is a little brown. Can I?
You're paying for it. A lot of people though don't, but they're gonna just politely take it.
Ask my husband. I don't keep anything that ain't the way I want it. It's like
I'm gonna nicely say it. I'm gonna have an ugly look on my face. I'm gonna be scrunched up. I'm gonna have an ugly look, but I'm gonna say it as nice as I can say it.
I'm gonna say it with love. Could you guys redo this, or maybe I need to order something else?
I'm gonna say it with professionalism. I don't know if it's gonna be love because I'm disgusted at that brown salad. Because I'm not eating that. But I agree. I love it. But a good salad, I think a good salad in Atlanta has been hard to find.
Yeah. You have to go to some of your nicer, higher restaurants.
My favorite salad spot in Atlanta is Capitol Grill.
Oh,
their their main lobster cob is a great salad. I think they don't make that. I think they make a main lobster salad, but I said I get the cob with the lobster. I make it my own, but it never fails. It's the winning salad.
Atlanta Fish Market.
Okay, they have a good salad.
Atlanta Fish Market has a great, it's the shrimp Louis salad or the crab Louis salad. Oh my God, it's to die for.
I'm going to get it
The portions have got a little bit small.
I don't like that.
But the salad is fabulous.
I don't like that.
The portions done got a little bit smaller.
The Chipotle effect needs to come to an end.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're saying about Chipotle all over social media. They're shrinking the portions. Same thing at Panera Bread. Ain't nobody eating these little salads.
Ever since post-COVID, the price of food went up and your portions have gone down. And it's like, if you're going to raise the price, can't we at least get what we used to get? That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it.
I agree 110%. And so you say you like sweets.
Yes.
What is your favorite sweet spot in the city of Atlanta? So you're craving a delicious dessert. Where do you go to buy that dessert? Honestly.
Okay.
Even if it's the Kroger Deli, where you go?
Well, there's this French pastry shop in Marietta, La Bouche. I can't even think of the name of it. I'm really terrible.
I'll look at it. We'll put it in the show notes.
It's off of North Marietta Drive, South Marietta Drive. It's not far from the Starbucks and everything that sits over there, Polk Street, but it's a French cafe bakery. The desserts in there are to die for. And then there's another cafe. See, my mind goes blank. This is what 63 does. There's another one that sits right across from Kennestone Hospital where they make fabulous, and they give you big, thick pastry. They're worth every dime that you pay for it.
And they're delicious.
They're loaf breads of like a chocolate banana bread and a pumpkin bread, and they have big old huge chocolate chip cookies and peanut butter to die for.
And so I'm going to this. I'm going to go to that one. Right.
Yes.
So what do I and get? What's the best one? What do I need to try?
Well, it depends on what you like. Now, if you're looking for homemade desserts,
I want a homemade dessert.
Like a, where did we go again? To when we got a good, I've gotten some good peach cobbler.
Oh, that's hard to find in Atlanta. I would love a good peach cobbler.
Actually, the best peach cobbler we got was down in Fayetteville too, or Peachtree City. So it really has been south of the city where we've gotten our best homemade.
I hate to drive all down to the Fayetteville, but I will definitely.
Yes, there's some shops there.
I'm gonna make a list, and I'm gonna spend and hit up the restaurant and get the pastry, and I'll get 2 reviews for one.
I'm gonna send you the names of the places that I've gone where they have delicious desserts.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
Okay.
So, all right, Mama Fee, thank you so much for coming in and sitting at the table, although we're not at the table.
Yeah, we on the couch.
And sharing your favorite eats with
you.
our Zach and ATL community. I appreciate you, my love.
I appreciate you having me. Smooches.
Smooches. Okay, and that's that. Okay.
Is that everything?
That's everything. I was talking about the book club, but I'm not. We'll talk about it later.
That was
Let's
fun.
see how many we got. Look at
Let's
this.
see how many people. What we got?
128. Look, we got 128 of y'all on the live.
On the live feed.
Oh my goodness. Now that's awesome. Yeah, look, there she is. She better trademark Smooches. We need it on a shirt. We need it on a sweater.
Okay.
That, or, you know, a sweatshirt that says Smooches.
Okay, I can do that.
We love you. If you do not follow, if you live in the Atlanta area, Zach and ATL on TikTok. And if you don't live in the Atlanta area and you like people, politics, and pop culture, the Zactivist. And we need to make sure that we grow this account and the Instagram and the YouTube that's coming, because now we finna sit down and talk strategy, shop, and branding. I look so tired, but I am. I was up all night reading Song of Solomon for my book club, and that's the problem. I couldn't turn it off. Also, binge watching a show called The Boys. Have you guys ever seen The Boys on Amazon Prime? I know you have.
I haven't seen that.
It's an excellent show.
Oh,
but not really, but it's an excellent story. It's an excellent story. They said, look, great interview, y'all.
Thank you.
We're glad you love it. Mwah, mwah. Watch Black Cake. That's on the list. Black Cake is on the list, but I got to push through Boys. Love The Boys. I knew it. It's a show.
Okay,
I'm going to tell you about
look for that.
Mama Fia. Now, we're going to go have us with Daddy Dwayne. We're going to go have a good lunch. If you're in Atlanta, we're going to breakfast at Barney's. What you going to order?
I don't know. I'm going to have to see when I get there. I've only been there once.
Oh, good. Okay, I got you. It's going to be good. All right.
I've been there once.
Love y'all.
Smooches. Yeah, we're going to
cut
shut
it
out
off.
now.
Let me show.